always make myself a drink when I'm recording a video. I always like make a coffee or a matcha or some type of drink, and then as soon as I start recording I forget that it's there and never take a sip of it. So I'm determined to just relax today and enjoy the process and actually drink my drink. Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jacklyn and I like to chat about books, and I'm really glad to have you here with me. In today's video, as you would have seen from the title, I am going to be recommending you books for the upcoming spring and summer here in Australia. I'm from Australia. It's very hot here and we are going into summer. So we're in spring now, it's just starting, and we're going into summer across the Christmas New Year period. So I thought it would be a good idea for me to recommend some books for that time period if you live in Australia, because I know that a lot of content that's coming out is from people who live in countries where the season is heading into winter. They get all cozy and, you know, fall and winter and Christmas and it's snow, and we just don't have that in Australia. So I thought I would recommend some books for the spring and the summertime. I don't have tons and tons of books here. I think I have around about 20 books, and majority of them are romance, but I do have fantasy and a couple of literary fiction because I read a lot of fantasy, but obviously fantasy is not typical for the summertime, I guess. It doesn't really give like summer vibes, but I have tried to pick ones that I think fit summer and the season that we're going into, as in like going to the beach and relaxing with your friends and trying to encompass that sort of feeling while also reading a really good book. A couple of literary fiction, a few romance, and then some fantasy that we will get into. And I do have a few that I don't actually have with me physically, so I think I will go through those first just so that I don't get to the end and then completely forget about them, because that is probably something that I would be bound to do because my head is just always all over the place. Yeah, we'll just jump right into it, I guess. We'll get started. The first book that I am going to talk about is the one and only mystery novel that I have to recommend you, because I don't really read mysteries, but this was one of my book club's book picks for the month and I read it a while ago and actually really enjoyed it, and that is Richard Osman's The Thursday Murder Club. So I'll just pop a little picture up of that, what it looks like. And I actually really did enjoy this book when we read it for book club. I think it's a very cool setting. It follows really interesting characters. It is funny. There's a lot of humor in it, British humor, so it is funny and typical for British humor. Within the book, you're switching POVs all the time and you're uncovering a murder, but the setting of the book is at a retirement home. So the characters that you're following along with are retired, they're elderly people, and it just has a lot of humor. They don't take life too seriously. They do a lot of like sneaky, fun, interesting things to get information from the police officers that are investigating the murder. They kind of trick a few people to try and uncover things and like manipulate people to get what they want, and it is really funny and very well written, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I gave it 4 stars. Yeah, I gave it 4 stars. If you're interested in mysteries and you like a light-hearted, funny kind of concept and vibe, The Thursday Murder Club is a really good one for you to dive into. I thought it was really well done. Second book that I don't have with me is a literary fiction. It's actually a new release, I believe. When did it come out? Let me find out. The 6th of May. It came out on the 6th of May this year, so it's not like new, but it came out this year, and it is a book called The Names by Florence Knapp. I recently read this. It was my book club's pick for this month, so September. I thought it was brilliant. It's a literary fiction. It follows 3 different lifetimes, 3 different how would you explain that? It's following the same set of characters and the same people are involved. It's a mother and a son and their journey through life, but it is parallel lifetimes. So at the very beginning of the book, the premise of the book is a mother deciding the name of her son. She gives birth and she's going to register his birth at the hospital. So she goes in to register his birth and give him a name. It follows the story of her giving him a name, but she picks 3 different names, okay? So there's the name that she's like meant to give him, like the name that she's supposed to give him. Then there's 2 other names that she comes up with. It follows the timeline and life of the name that the boy is supposed to have, and then the other 2 timelines of the different names that he has and the lives that he could have if he had that name. So it is really, really interesting straight off the bat. It is an interesting concept and premise, and it is really, really well done, really well executed. I was hooked, like instantly hooked. I was like, I need to know what's going on. It does have a few trigger warnings, as in it does cover some hard topics to read about and some significant things that do happen within the story, but it was so well done and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So definitely recommend that one going into the summer. It's not like super summer vibes, but I just thought that the book was really, really well done and really well executed, so I think it's a good one to read. Lastly, the book that I don't have with me physically, the last one that I have is a fantasy book, and it is Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent. So Carissa Broadbent, absolutely love and adore her. Daughter of No Worlds is book 1 in the series. The series is called The War of Lost Hearts series. There's 3 books, so it's a trilogy, and I absolutely loved this series. I pretty much read the books like in succession. I just finished one, started the next one, finished that one, and started the third. And I thought it was so good. I loved Daughter of No Worlds. Yes, fantasy books aren't super summer vibes, and I'm not saying that the setting in this is super summer, spring environment, but I just absolutely loved those books. The world is not hard to understand. The magic system isn't hard to understand. They are wonderful, quick, fast-paced reads that you could enjoy at any time of year, but I think if you're looking for a fantasy going into summer or spring, Daughter of No Worlds is a great one to pick up. I'm very passionate about Daughter of No Worlds, and I would love to get my hands on the physical books, but they don't actually sell them in the town that I come from. They're not stocked in any of the bookstores, so I'd have to order them, and I just haven't got around to doing that. What Daughter of No Worlds is about, it follows a girl and she is a slave. She's enslaved to a guy and she has to work to like stay in this building. She has to work and earn her keep, basically. She works very hard to save up enough money that she can buy herself out of the slavery, okay? So she saves up and she approaches her boss, or her master, I guess you would call it in the fantasy setting. She approaches him and tries to buy her way out, and basically it kind of blows up from there. Like, he's obviously not going to let her leave. He's not going to cop it on the chin and let her go. So she escapes and she ends up going to like the capital city to get some justice and try and save her friend that she had to leave behind to escape. So she goes to like the government, I guess you would call them. She goes to them and she wants to get justice and save her friend, and she wants slavery to be destroyed, basically. She doesn't want slavery to be a thing. She then, from there, to get into this government and to be part of it and to fight for this justice that she wants, she has to complete an apprenticeship and training to be welcomed in. And then from there, she's kind of set up to go to train with the male main character, and he has to train her, and he has a very dark past. She also has a very dark past. They're dealing with traumas. They are arguing and miscommunicating because she is a foreigner compared to him, so they don't speak the same language. They have a communication barrier, so they have to try and move past that. They train together. He discovers her magic and her powers. There is a magic system in this world, and it is just really, really fun and really, really well done. And I love the romance in this book. It is stunning. Moving on to physical books that I actually have with me. I'll start off with my literary fiction and then move into the romance and the fantasy. First one I have is Tom Lake by Anne Patchett, and this is spring vibes. Look at the cover. This is just spring vibes all over. It follows a mum and her 3 daughters, and she is telling the story of when she was younger and an actress, and the whirlwind? That's not right, is it? Whirlwind? That's better. Whirlwind romance that she has with a famous actor when she was younger. So she's telling her daughters the story of when she fell in love with this actor and they were together before she met her now husband and the father of her 3 children. So it is a beautiful story. It is really, really well done, really well written, and the audiobook of this is actually narrated by, what is her name? I always forget. It's the woman out of Mamma Mia. Meryl Streep. How could I forget that? Seriously, I forget that every single time. Meryl Streep actually narrates the audiobook of this, and she does a fantastic, wonderful, amazing job. So definitely pick this up in the springtime. It is stunning. Second one in the literary fiction section that I have is My Friends by Frederick Bachman. This only came out this year and I read it pretty much the day that it came out. I absolutely love this book. Like, it is ingrained in my heart and my soul. I love it. It's all about art and the beautiful things in life, the meaning of life. It's about friendship and love and how you can get through anything if you have good friends. If you have good friends with you, people who support you and encourage you and want to see you succeed, you can get through anything, and that is what this story encompasses. And Frederick Bachman is just one of the most stunning writers I have ever come across in my years and years of reading books. He is an amazing author. He has stunning perspectives and quotes, and the way he puts things together, the characters that he creates, you just love them. This is such a good book. It's so, so good. If you need more convincing, look at all those tabs, because I just highlight every second thing in his books. They're so, so good. So many quotes, so many highlights, so many notes and like life lessons, things to take away from this. Such a good book. Look at that. Getting somewhere. Also, sorry about all the planes and the background noise and the birds. You know, I'm not going to stop a bird from singing just for my video, so they can do whatever they like. I don't know how people get it so quiet when they're like filming or vlogging or anything like that. Like, there's so much noise. This is my stack of romance books. Oh, a few have tabs. I didn't know I annotated some of these. So we'll get through these. Let's start. First up, I have Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. This is the one and only book by Christina Lauren that I have read, and I've heard the most reviews and information about this one, so it's the one that I have read. I really love this book. I think I gave it 4 stars. I can't really remember. I read it quite a while ago, but it's just a beautiful story. It follows a young boy and a girl that are friends when they're kids, so it's a second chance romance. They're friends when they're growing up, and it's like that first love, falling in love really slowly because you're friends at first and you learn and understand everything about each other, and then slowly building that up and falling in love as young kids and young teenagers. They have a falling out, and yeah, something happens, so they have a falling out and they end up meeting years later. I can't remember how many years later. 10 years. Yeah, they have a massive falling out, and the female main character in this kind of like ghosts him for 10 years until they run into each other at a coffee shop, I think it is. They randomly run into each other and reconnect and start communicating and discussing things and seeing each other a bit more often and dealing with what happened in their past. So it's dual timeline, and I think it's dual point of view as well. Maybe not. I think it's just in the FMC's perspective, but it's dual timeline of when they were younger and then now that they're older, 10 years later. Yeah, it's just a really lovely, light-hearted, soft story, but still holds depth and encompasses all of those feelings, you know, falling in love for the first time and young love and being a teenager and having things confuse you and not knowing what direction to take your life and all of those big decisions. So it just encompasses all of those emotions and feelings, and it's a really lovely story. Then I have the Lakefront Billionaires series. This is book 1 in the Lakefront Billionaires series. This is Love Redesigned, and it follows Julian and Dahlia. And I really love this series. I've read the first 2 books and I have the 3rd book sitting on my shelf waiting to be read. I love the layout of the book. Look at that floppiness. But it has like little graphics, like the start of chapters are really cute. And it has like if there's text messages, it has like a little graphic. So I really love like the layout of the book. It's really interactive and fun to read, but the story itself is actually really fun. I loved this one and I love the second one. I'm sure I'll love the 3rd one as well. This one follows Julian and Dahlia, and Julian is a billionaire. So it's just fun to begin with because billionaires are cool and fun to read about. Like they can just do anything because they have so much money. They just do whatever they want. And this one is like enemies to lovers. You know, in romance, the enemies to lovers is not like insane enemies to lovers like what you get in a fantasy story, but they're technically enemies to lovers. And I'm pretty sure she had a fiance and they broke up, or she was married and they broke up. I can't remember. I read it a really long time ago, but they're enemies to lovers and they end up having a little bit of forced proximity because they start working together designing houses, and she's an interior designer and something happens where she's stopped doing that and has kind of lost her love for it and her interest in it, but Julian helps her get back into it. It is really, really good. And they are quite chunky, but they read really, really fast. So these are the Lakefront Billionaire series would be a good one for the summer vibes. Take it to the beach. Enjoy. These 2 I'm going to hold up together. Funny Story and Happy Place by Emily Henry. Really, in this, like talking about these 2 books, you could really pick any Emily Henry book for the spring, summertime, get all the vibes of that. Specifically, Happy Place is set at a lake house with a group of friends who are having a holiday together. So it is really the perfect setting for taking the book to the beach and enjoying it. It is about a lady named Harriet and a man named Wynne. Basically, they were together for years and years and years, and their friends still think that they're together, but they actually broke up. So then they go on the holiday and they are forced to pretend that they are still together even though they broke up and they haven't been talking. They're forced to pretend that they're still in a relationship to kind of save themselves and their friends from this big drama. But of course, a big drama ends up happening anyway because it discusses a lot of topics about being in your early 20s and friendships and how you can grow apart or grow together and the different directions that you can take your life, what you thought you wanted versus what you actually want. And it brings out a lot of emotions and it is really, really well done. I love Emily Henry's writing and this was a really, really good read. Funny Story is my favorite Emily Henry book. Should we rank Emily Henry's books in my subjective opinion of best to least best? I've seen everyone else rank their Emily Henry books, so I may as well do it. This would be my favorite. I think it would go Funny Story, Great Big Beautiful Life, Happy Place, Book Lovers, Beach Read, and then You and Me on Vacation, or People We Meet on Vacation. That has 2 different names, that book. But yeah, Funny Story is my absolute favorite, as you can see from the tabs. And this follows Daphne and Peter. Daphne and Peter, wait, no, that's wrong. This is about Daphne and Miles. Daphne and Miles were both dating different people. Miles was dating Petra and Daphne was dating Peter. Daphne and Peter are engaged. What ends up happening is Peter and Petra end up getting together because they apparently have been in love their whole life and are destined to be together. So they end up getting together, and then Daphne is kicked to the curb and Miles is kicked to the curb, and they both don't know what they're doing. So Daphne has to move out of her house, obviously, and ends up moving into Miles's house. So they end up rooming together. The two exes end up rooming together, and from there the story goes on. It has a little bit of fake dating in it. It has a bit of humor in it. It also discusses a lot of joy from reading and books, because Daphne works at the local library and she's trying to further her career, and it's just really lovely. I absolutely loved this story. I love the characters. I thought that they were really well done, and yeah, really any Emily Henry book you could read for the spring or summertime, definitely. She is fantastic. Moving on, we have The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This is the only Ashley Poston book that I have read, but I thoroughly enjoyed this. I definitely plan on reading more. I just haven't purchased any of her books recently, so I need to get onto that. But this one, The 7-Year Slip, I really enjoyed. It has a little bit of magical realism within the story, as in the apartment that the female main character lives in has like a magical chink where it can go forward or backward 7 years in time. Wherever you are in your actual timeline, you'll just open the door one day and it would automatically be 7 years in the past or 7 years in the future. So it follows the female main character as she's living in this apartment and falling in love with the male main character and their journey together and what they go through to finally figure their stuff out and be together. It is a really lovely story. It's really well written. I definitely annotated this and got some good quotes out of it. I really enjoyed it. It's just a beautiful romance, really. It's an easy read. It's got emotional depth. I love when romances have emotional depth, because I just hate surface level relationships, as in when it's nothing other than just lust or physical attraction. I want there to be a little bit more than that. I want there to be intelligence and intellectual attraction and actual brain power being used, and conversations to make you understand who the person is on the inside as well as who they are on the outside. This definitely has that aspect, and I really loved it. Last romance book that I have is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I just finished this like last week or the week before. Recently I finished it and I really loved this. This is so cute, but also has some hard-hitting topics. It's definitely kind of the same, not the same concept or anything like that, but like same vibes, as in has emotional depth and emotional understanding. And the two main characters in this have to work hard at their relationship to figure it out. They have to work hard to be good human beings to each other and to their families. So it's a lovely story. It is about, the main male character's name is Xavier and he is a veterinarian, and then the female main character's name is Samantha, and she is dealing with a lot of family, not drama, but like family issues, family dynamics. She's dealing with siblings and parents and health issues. She moves away to go and spend time with her mother, who is having some health issues, and help out her dad to give him a bit of a break from doing all the care for her mother. So she moves away indefinitely, and the night before is when she goes on a date with Xavier, and they establish a really good connection from that date, and both can't stop thinking about each other, but because she's moved, it adds that element of distance and how they're going to figure that out, and if it's the right time or if it's the wrong time, right person, wrong time situation. And it is just really, really well done. Definitely really enjoyed this, and it does encompass spring and summer vibes. All right, moving on to our fantasy reads. I've got 6 books here. What you will gather from these fantasy recommendations is that the world building in all of them is nothing super intricate and intense. They are worlds that you can just dive into straight away. It doesn't take tons of brain power to understand the world, and they have lovely magical elements, but it's not super like hardcore fantasy, if you know what I'm saying. Like fantasy, so you're still getting that fantasy aspect if you love fantasy reads, but it's lighthearted enough that you could still take this fantasy book to the beach and enjoy your day. Does that make sense? All right, starting off, we have Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. This is a trilogy. I have the other 2 books just here. So book number 2 is The Ballad of Never After. Book number 3 is A Curse for True Love. These books are nothing insane. Nothing insane. Is that a compliment or not a compliment? These books are not the highest rated in my reviews or when I finished them. I didn't think that they were anything extravagant and amazing and brilliant, but they do encompass magic and castles and balls and the beautiful fairy tale element that you love and you crave in a fantasy story. So the world is not hard to understand. It follows Evangeline. She makes a deal with the Prince of Hearts. She makes a deal with the devil, and basically the devil she makes a deal with the Prince of Hearts. From there, he has 3 kisses, or 3 like situations where she has to do what he says, and the consequences and outcome from that is just what she has to deal with, basically. And you just follow the story of Evangeline running around like chasing her tail, trying to break her curse and figure out what she is doing. And she uncovers some things going on within the kingdom that she wants to stick her hand in and deal with and fix. So yeah, Evangeline is honestly a bit of a ditzy character. She's not super smart. She makes some silly decisions and you get like a bit frustrated at her, but it is fun. There's balls and dancing and all of those whimsical, beautiful, cozy fantasy vibes, but also a lot of action and very fast paced. Then I have The Hunger Games, also another trilogy. If you have not read The Hunger Games, or if you don't know what The Hunger Games is about, I can't really help you, because surely every man and his dog knows what this is about these days. But if you have not read this, like as in you're exactly like me and never read it when you were a young teenager and didn't realize it was so great when you were a teenager, read this. It is so good and so entertaining, so fast paced, so easy to read. The world is beautifully formulated, like you understand it so perfectly, but it's not difficult to understand. Suzanne Collins is like straight to the point. There's no like airy fairiness. It is just like, we're going here and we're doing this, but that scene then means something going into the next scene. Like everything is important. Every scene means something, and you're always going somewhere. You're always gaining something. You're in the perspective of the main character. You're in her head and thinking the thoughts that she thinks and feels, and you're processing things with her, and you're understanding why she reacts the way that she does. It is written so well. Yeah, you just get addicted, and they're super fast and easy to read, so I highly recommend. Highly recommend. The next one I have is Shatter Me by Taria Mafi. Mafi? I think it's Taria Mafi. This is also a trilogy, but there's like tons of novellas. I haven't even touched the novellas. I don't even look at the novellas because I'm like, I don't know what order they are. I don't know where they fit in. I've just read the trilogy. The trilogy is Shatter Me, Unravel Me, and Ignite Me. These are also really, really good, really well written. I love Taria's writing style. I got a lot of good quotes from this as well. If you like to annotate your books, I loved her writing style. And this was kind of same vibes as like the Hunger Games. It's a dystopian world. It follows the female main character. It's a bit of a love triangle. She's trying to figure out who the good guy is, who the bad guy is, and where she fits in that. She has a fatal power, as in her touch is fatal. People die when they touch her. It follows the story of her growing into herself and becoming the person that she's meant to be and fighting for her freedom. It is really, really well done and highly entertaining. I was addicted. I really dislike love triangles. I don't like them, but in both The Hunger Games and Shatter Me, I liked them. They were really, really well done. The next one I have is 6 Crimson Cranes. I lost the dust jacket to this. Don't know where it is, but 6 Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim has a lot of Chinese lore and Chinese aspects within this fantasy world. It follows a princess who gets cursed. She has to flee her kingdom, and I don't know why I'm showing you the map, but the dragon is pretty cool. Her brothers also she's got a few brothers in the story, and they also end up getting cursed alongside her so that they don't like ruin what the bad guy is trying to achieve. They end up getting cursed as well. She has to flee the kingdom. She's trying to save her brothers. She's trying to get them back. And at the same time, she learns a lot about herself and the type of person that she was in the kingdom, and has a lot of growth. And she kind of has this dragon that is kind of like a spiritual guide. There isn't a ton of dragons within the book, but there is a dragon within the book. It's more of like that fairy tale whimsical vibe. It's young adult. It's easy to read, it's fast paced, it's quick, and it definitely has some underlying messages, but it's not a hard book to read for a fantasy, and I really, really enjoyed it. 2 more to go and then we are out of here. Second last one is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. So Shadow and Bone is part of the Grishaverse, which the Grishaverse is a universe made by Leigh Bardugo that has multiple stories within the universe. So Shadow and Bone is a trilogy in the Grishaverse. There's 3 books: Shadow and Bone, Siege and Storm, and then Ruin and Rising. The duology of Six of Crows is one of the stories within the Grishaverse that is part of this world by Leigh Bardugo, and Six of Crows is very, very popular online. It has a lot of fans and a lot of recommendations are for Six of Crows. And while I enjoyed Six of Crows, I didn't love it, but I definitely think Shadow and Bone is underhyped. Lots of people don't like these books, but I think they're amazing. I think they're so fun. Elemental magic is my favorite magic type ever. I just love books that have elemental magic, and this is elemental magic. It's really, really cool. It's the light versus the dark, and there's a shadow wielder and she's a light wielder, and she didn't know that she had powers, but she discovers them when she has to save her friend, and then she has to go to this school, and it's a school setting, and she's training and she's figuring out how to use her powers, and she's trying to figure out who the good guy is, who the bad guy is. She is trying to not get manipulated. She's trying to save the day. She's an orphan. She is trying to be a good soldier. She really grows into her own. She learns a lot of lessons and becomes this amazing female main character who is super strong and independent and doesn't need to rely on anyone to get her shit done. It's so, so fun. I don't know why these are not as hyped as Six of Crows. Six of Crows is good. I'm not bagging it. It is good, but I loved these books. I ate them up. I read them like one after the other consecutively, and they're so, so fun. It's also not super long. It's 300 pages long. Like, that's quite great for a fantasy story. There's a lot of world building and it's really, really good. And yeah, I just really recommend Shadow and Bone. I think it's so fun. It also has a TV series. After you read it, you can watch the TV show. Love this. Shadow and Bone's a good one. Lastly, I have a Forbidden Alchemy by Stacey McEwen. Stacey is an Australian author. If you're watching, hi. This is the first book of yours that I have read and I loved it. But this is a new release. Oh, I still have a bookmark in here. It came out recently. I just loved this. It is also elemental magic, so love it already. Let's have a look at how many pages this is. So it's like 470 something pages, and I would have read like 800 pages of this. I wanted more. I just wanted more, like more of everything, more of the romance, more of the world, more of the magic, more of the politics. I just wanted so much more detail. Like I loved it. I already loved it, but I just would have read so much more. I loved the characters. I loved the storyline. It starts off when they're really young and they're going to take this test to see if they have the magic in their body within this world. Like they have to drink this formula and it then discovers whether they have magic or not within them. They kind of discover together, the female main character and the male main character, they discover that it's all like a bit of a ruse and it's not real. And then from there, they both take two different pathways with that information. They take that information and they follow two different paths and they separate. They don't see each other for years. So then years later, things happen and they end up reconnecting and they have to work together to save the day and solve the problem. There is plot twists, there is yearning, there is forced proximity, there is a bit of fighting and misleading information. There is so much and I just wanted more of it. I loved it. It gives kind of like Peaky Blinders vibes, but fantasy. Like the male main character is like the male guy from Peaky Blinders. I'll insert a photo. I can't remember his name. I'll insert a photo of the guy from Peaky Blinders. That's the vibe that he gives, but then also add a bit of magic and a really fun romance. This was so, so good and I cannot wait for the next one. And yeah, this is a new release, so go get your hands on it. Would you look at that? Finished my drink. The first and only time when recording a sit down video that I've actually finished a drink that I made myself before. Guys, that is it. That is all the recommendations for spring and summer that I have for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. Not only that, but I also hope that you get around to reading some of these books and you take my recommendations and enjoy them. Yeah, I hope to hear from some of you guys. If you've read any of these, give me a comment and we can chat about it below if you enjoyed them or if you didn't enjoy them. I really hope that you enjoyed this video and enjoy me yapping about books. Hopefully this summer I will continue reading books like this and books for the summer time, and I can recommend further books as we go because I do have a few on my radar that I am looking forward to getting to in the coming months. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of me and hear more about the books that I have been reading. Thank you so much for watching. If you got this far, I really, really, really appreciate it and I love you guys so, so much. Thank you. I will see you in the next one and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye.